Like, because basically, like, I've been studying this whole, like, was Kendrick disappointed?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I called the girl liar.
Mm-hmm. That's true. You know what I mean? That's a fact.
I didn't quite understand what pop meant, like what pop was. Like, now I'm like, you know what I mean? It made perfect sense. But when he first said that, I was like, hell no, man. I'm watching this dude do his thing. Like,
so Glasses Malone has finally come out and just admitted that back in 2011 is when Kendrick told him about Drake having ghostwriters. He been dancing around it, talking about he can't really say this, he can't say that, insinuating. But finally, he's come out and said it when he's talking on the phone with DJ Head, Jeremy Heck, and Elliot Wilson over at Hip Hop DX. And look, man, some of y'all, you know, we go back and forth in the comments. Y'all be coming at me like I just be making up stuff off the top of my head. Look, my name ain't academics, bro. You can't go back in one of my videos and point out something where I made up or created a narrative. Everything I say is based on what people have said and or done. It's my opinion. Now, granted, sometimes you might not agree. Sometimes I might be off base. Facts, right? But it's never made up. Or me just trying to spin something. When it comes to Drake, all of this shit is based on what he said and done. Like, for instance, we just talked about the bot and stuff. And some of y'all don't think it's nothing. You think it's a nothing burger, but that's not true. And we got to have that conversation. Me stating that if he has tens of billions of botted streams, doesn't mean that other artists don't. But because that is such a huge part of his legacy, that there wouldn't be a conversation as to what that means, since he has built himself up to be the number one rapper. He did, not me. Him and a bunch of his fans. All right. So I think that's a legit conversation, man. Some of y'all just don't want to acknowledge and admit to the facts and go down that road and have that conversation and really understand the implications. Don't mean you can't like him still. Don't mean you can't like his songs. But he ain't one of the best, man, when it comes to rap. It's just a fact. Anyway, let's get into this video.
Of when people actually knew Drake had any writers. We kind of didn't say it for sure last time, but at that time, were there rumblings that you knew of within the Cash Money crew that you knew he had people working with him, or it wasn't till later that you had heard those rumors?
The first person that brought it to my attention, and I don't know if this right to snitch on him, is Dot. Dot is the first person that brought it to my attention. But I'll be honest, when he first came, it was always, we knew it was a pop approach from a pop artist. He was introduced kind of as this Nickelodeon kind of kid to the people at the label. And
not the Nickelodeon kid. We got the Nickelodeon kid to the no-face man. That's crazy.
You know, talking to him, he was a well-mannered dude. But when they pressed play, you could just tell he was like a savant when it came to making records. Like, it was just nice. Yeah. So
one thing about Glasses, I'll say too, people be trying to hate on him just because he be saying like things like this. He's never talked down on Drake out of what I think is hate. He's always, like he said, he's like a savant when it comes to making records. He's always giving credit where credit is due. His issue has been the fact that Drake be capping, right? He trying to be something he's not. That's what his issue has been. It's never been, he's always acknowledged that Drake was really, and his team was really good at making records. But all of this number one rapper, best rapper of all time, all that other crap. No. And making it like it's all you when it's not all you. That's the problem. Y'all make it like people, just because they say these things and come out and speak about them, that it's hate. It's not hate when the person themselves are trying to uphold that image. It's not hate to say that. Look, people still rock with Cardi B. She still got a huge fan base. And guess what? Everybody knows she gets help writing. So I think if that had been the approach and acknowledged from the gate, we would never get here. and there would never be these questions. But the problem is this guy, Drake, wanted to put himself at the forefront. He wanted to make it like he was this great rapper, and he even took it as far as getting into rap battles with real rappers. It's because you can write a couple rap songs, man, don't make you a fucking rapper. It definitely don't put you in that upper echelon tier, as we've seen, right?
Now that I understand what's happening, like that would make sense. You know what I mean? Especially a lot earlier than we think. You know what I mean?
Was that 2011?
Yeah, I'm thinking it's around there, but I don't think we would have had rumbles about it because we kind of always knew that he was a pop artist.
Mm-hmm.
You know what I mean? Like, not like he's a rapper, but he was a pop artist. His approach was an assembly line of how he made music that fit. Like, and he had a bunch of, you know, he had a great team. 40 was fantastic. Boy, he won the T-minus. Them dudes were like fantastic. He walked in with this team. Like, he had a plan and he executed, and his plan worked.
But you knew that. Do you think Kendrick, when he said that to you, was he disappointed? Like, because basically, like, I've been studying this whole, like, was Kendrick disappointed?
Oh, hell yeah. Hell yeah. I called the nigga a liar.
Mm-hmm. That's true. You know what I mean? That's a fact.
I didn't quite understand what pop meant, like what pop was. Like, now I'm like, God damn it. You know what I mean? It made perfect sense. But when he first said that, I was like, hell no, man. I'm watching this dude do his thing. Like, you know, at that time, I'm still just kind of looking at him like somebody else at the label. You know what I mean? Like, shit, Tiger writing his own shit, Nick writing her own shit. Like, I'm thinking Cuz doing the same. And when Dot said it, remember then I heard King Kunta. So I'm like, this is about Cuz. So when it came, you know what I'm saying?
Share bars like you got the bottom bunk in a 2-man cell. And see, people say Kendrick hate. It ain't got nothing to do with hate. He was offended. He was offended that somebody like Drake would put himself in the same class as him. And not only that, come at him, right? Now, who knows all the, you know, the intricacies of that whole situation, but these people, right? Kendrick, Drake, maybe Glasses, DJ Head. But what we have here finally is admitting that, yeah, Kendrick let them know this nigga don't write. And I think the offense comes in when Drake tried to come at him and people like him, whether it be Meek or anything, like he is that dude. You know what I'm saying? It's like you acting like you can fight, but you can't. You know what I mean? Because you slipped up and you got one against Meek. You got that one. For all we know, you ain't even write them joints. You probably ain't even write back to back. Remember, there's been word that came from Daylight. So you ain't even writing your own battle raps, man. Yeah, I don't know what type of person you can be that you would live in this fantasy world where you're making it like you're this guy and you're not. Again, it's the proverbial Wizard of Oz type thing, right? Where you finally look behind the curtain and it's just a guy, man. Just a guy who got who's really good at showmanship. You know what I mean? But you let yourself think that that's real life, and it ain't real life. And when you go up against people who really do that, you're not even your gimmicks is enough to carry the day at this point. And so that's the problem. I think when you boil it down, therein is the main issue. Not that he hasn't made great songs, not that he hasn't been a great artist. It's the fact that he tried to be something he wasn't, to the point of rap battling, losing, and it went so far as to sue and still continue on. Where if he had just stayed in his lane from the get-go, we wouldn't be here, man. Wouldn't even be having none of these conversations, honestly. Y'all know I'm right about that too. You can't deny that.
Came out publicly, like when Meek kind of leaked it, and then I start asking around like all the back channel. I was like, oh hell, you know what I mean? Which I didn't really say when it came out publicly, like when Meek kind of leaked it, and then I start asking around like all the back channel. I was like, oh hell, you know what I mean? Which I didn't really take credit from him because, you know, I always kind of thought of him as like a pop artist, like, you know, that's like being upset that you discover Madonna don't write her own songs.
I thought of it more like Ye. Like I looked at it like,
I think Kendrick was probably upset because he was looking at Drake as his competition, which he said at that time. And he's like, I want to be the best rapper of my generation, which you are right now, because Drake was in that spot. I think he was like, damn, this is who they're looking at like that when I'm doing all this extra work.
I think that was around the time. Was that around that time when we were on that tour together?
It was right after.
It was right after we came back from that tour.
Right after. But when he told me, I was like, nigga, hell no. I'm like, you know what I mean? But I didn't. Now, in hindsight, it all makes sense. You know what I mean? His approach is very much like Michael Jackson. He just got multiple Rod Tempertons. You know what I mean? He said it openly a million times, and none of us ever paid attention that this was his approach, because we've looked at rap. Rap has been so synonymous with hip hop over, especially Elliot, me, and our lives, bro. So, you know, since fucking Debbie Harry rapped on Rapture, everybody else that's been decent in rapping, you pretty much knew that they were kind of part of hip hop, versus now where rapping is being used with all genres. And now their own rules apply, you know, in that genre or in that, you know, that whole collective of how they approach making records. So he's always had this really brilliant approach at how he was going to make records, but he also understood he was taking it all from a pop perspective.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, no, I agree. All right, good looking. I
Thank you, Glasses.
Thank you.
Yeah, no, the problem again comes in when you make out yourself to be the best rapper to the point of getting in verbal fisticuffs with other artists, right? And you want to take the glory when you win, but you don't want to take the shame or the L or whatever you want to call it when you lose, right? This isn't about the artist, the songs, or none of that so much as it is about presenting the image to the public, denying it. And when it's, you know, when it comes out, you know, you still got people who try to defend that bullshit. So let's see what some of the comments say. Drake has had writers and ghostwriters his whole career. He's a pop star, not hip hop. I used to think he was hip hop. I was wrong. Well, yeah, but that's not how he built himself, really. Right? He doesn't. Neither does his fans, for real. They only want to admit that when an argument favors them. And that's not often as of late. Not new, but nice to have confirmed again. For over a decade, multiple sources have validated that Drake doesn't write all his raps. It is what it is. But I can imagine how low-key disappointed Kendrick was at Drake in 2011 because he was the most new to the mainstream industry. Before pushing me, Kendrick has been wanting to get at Drake and start a rap beef. I don't know if he's been wanting to start a rap beef. I don't know about that. Again, that control verse was for everybody named respectfully, but it was more specifically for one person and one person only. That one person got offended and has been ducking Kendrick since 2013. And I think that's a problem too, right? It's where if you know you're a pop star, and you know you get help. Yeah, maybe you wrote some of your stuff, but you know you get help. Hell, you had pretty much a whole album written by The Weeknd. Why do you, one, get so offended at a verse like the control verse? Two, to take it even steps further and start to throw shots. And see, that's where the problem comes in, right? You can't blame Kendrick for being offended, for even taking it personal. Because who took it personal first? Again, if you understand your position, if you understand the lane that you in and you just gonna run it up in this lane and it is what it is, one, your fan base gonna stay solid. Two, you don't even have to respond to a verse like that because it doesn't pertain to you. It doesn't pertain to you. Just keep doing your shit. And so that right there, yeah, that would offend someone who actually writes their fucking shit, right? Now somebody say, so he was going around claiming Ghostwriters in 2011, but still went on tour with him, gave him a feature for Take Care, took a feature for Good Kid, Mad City. Like niggas been saying he don't stand for shit. He just a short opportunist who will say whatever it takes. All right. See, these arguments make absolutely no sense. Kendrick done collaborated with all. He even collaborated with. I think somebody even said that he nigga. You talking just to talk. Kendrick openly stated that he doesn't mind rappers using writers, but they just never be GOAT or top rapper to him. He literally made music with Kanye and Drake. Yeah, I don't think it's so much the getting people to write for you or the give you reference tracks. I think it's the attitude that Drake has had, right? The arrogance even that Drake has had. It ain't so much about the writing. I think this statements like this overlook that aspect of it. Imagine Drake never takes control personally. Imagine that. And Kendrick collabing with him has nothing. I don't think that Kendrick minded working. I think Kendrick was more offended at him taking offense and going on these subliminal diss tours in these interviews and even in his songs. So I don't think it has nothing to do. Maybe he was disappointed in 2011 when he found out, but I don't even think that that leads to what we end up getting if it wasn't for Drake's response. I really don't. I think it's more, oh, damn, not only is you doing this, and I'm disappointed about, but damn, you got the nerve to fucking come at me. I think that's what it is. These types of comments, they purposely overlook that aspect of things, right? How come no one ever interviews the writers? Get Rory up there. Quentin Miller already told y'all. I mean, the people have said stuff. People have said stuff. I do put some of this on some of these ghostwriters and shit too, though, because y'all help build this, and then you know what I mean? Y'all sign these NDAs and shit, and y'all just kind of help keep up the deception. Here goes somebody. Here we go. We got to talk about Drake. He's saying for 14 years he heard something, but Kendrick and Drake collabed after this. So now we got to talk about more Drake shit to grab some. That's, see, again, another disingenuous statement. Yeah, we got to talk about it. How is it that we can get off of that? How is it that it's okay to talk when we talking, oh, biggest artist of all time, or hip or rapper of all time, or breaking the streaming records, or one hit away from Mike? How is it that it's okay when we talk about all that, but when we talk about things that call all that into question, that talk about the authenticity of it, that talk about reshaping what the career looks like given these things in totality, why is that an issue? Why can't that be a conversation? Nobody's making this stuff up, y'all. Nobody's just like, I'm not sitting here spinning a narrative. We have instance after instance, thing after thing that happens. Like, come on now, we passed the smoke thing. I think all these conversations are fair game. The problem is some of y'all so sensitive, y'all can't fucking have that conversation. You act like this is, you take it like it's coming, somebody coming at you. Like, just be straight up, be a man about the shit and have a conversation. We don't know none of these guys. At the end of the day, right? Nobody know these guys, but look, I'm not sitting here spinning nothing. I dare one of y'all to go back and find some narrative that I just created out the fucking side of my neck and push. Like, I don't do that. I sit here and I talk about what's happening, just like I'm talking about this, talking about what Glasses Malone said, taking into consideration everything that's happened. That's it, man. That's it. And so what we boil it down to is, ain't got nothing to do with hate. Ain't got really nothing to do with the fact that Drake was a pop star who got help. Has more to do with the fact that he took offense and he started dissing. He started throwing subliminals, and Kendrick is fully justified in taking that personal. Period, point blank. Period, point blank. Some of y'all fucking take shit personal, way less shit personal. Don't even lie. Some of y'all take this shit personal, and it ain't even you. Anyway, let me know what y'all think about this. Hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. I'll see you on the next one.